dears. Welcome to March. Welcome to March 2024. It's going to be a fun ride. It's going to be a great ride. This is my at-home cocktail tray. I know I've showed it to you before. I have my water. I have I'll use this agate for the pause. And I have banana with some almond butter on it. And a yogi tea. I'm not really sure. I think it's Breathe Deep. I really do, but I loved the little label on it today, which was be kind to others, but always be compassionate to yourself. And it's completely unrelated to this video, but I find that to be very important for light workers, for empaths, for people of service, no matter what it is that you do, that you always remember to give yourself the unconditional love that you believe that God or the universe, whatever label you put on that, gives to everyone on the planet. You're worthy. You're worthy of that. So welcome to the cafe. Welcome to March. If this is the first time that you have joined me at my table, at this, beautiful multidimensional table, we're transcending time and space. I'm grateful for YouTube for really teaching quantum physics and quantum mechanics, because it's really just you and me here at the cafe having some coffee or tea and chatting about a little bit of astrology, a little bit of woo-woo, some spirituality, the growth mindset, just kind of having a little bit of an introduction to what might be going on, how you might be feeling, and giving you some tools hopefully along the way so that you remember that you are not crazy. You're not in any way. This world is ever changing, and it's just so exciting to be alive. It really, really is. So, hi, my name is Sarah. I am a quantum healer, a spirit counsel, a multidimensional life coach, if you will. And my human has come from corporate. I, definitely check out my Waking Up Post Woke series if you're interested in my human tale. But I come from corporate. I've been training teams for over 10 years now. And my human now is a beautiful waiter and, brings joy to others on this planet. I could never go back into the matrix, but if you're still in it, I'm here to help you and kind of just rip you out of it. So let's get into it. Like I said, let's use the agate for the pause. I love the little eye in it, but then it just looks like a little guide in there. So if you'd like to go grab your coffee, your tea, your water, pause this video, grab your journal. I'm going to give you a few dates to look out for, and we'll get started. So go pause the video. I'll do it like an influencer. Yes, this is the agate that I use, and it's really, I have the kambaba on the table. I have 2 selenites. I have the peach selenite. I'll probably palm the peach selenite for right now. And let's see, I want to take a sip of tea. Yummy. And let's get into it. Let's talk about March. I don't know what title I'm going to actually put for the video, but what came through is there's no warm-up. You're on. Align your vibe. Trust your intuition, your gut. And so I want to start with, I had this recurring dream when I was a kiddo. And I didn't know then how quantum I was. I didn't know then how multidimensional I was. And the dream that I had was at a book signing. And I was a child. I was like 6, 7 when I had this dream. I was a child, not at the book signing. I was an adult in the book signing. And did not have this language in any capacity when I was a kiddo. Definitely did not. Bless my parents. They did the best they could with the tools that they had. But I would wake up in this dream, and I was an astral traveling. I didn't know what I was doing, but in the dream, I would be sitting at the table at the book signing, and I would be like, okay, and I'm just signing, the books. I'm initialing, I'm giving my signature in the books, and people are coming up, and it's at like a Barnes and Noble, and even as I'm talking, my guy's like, it's the Barnes and Noble and the Prue and things like that. And I knew I was in a dream, but I didn't have astral traveling. I didn't have this language. So I would be in the dream, and then I'd close my eyes and I would be back at home and I'd be a young girl. And then I'd close my eyes and I'd be at the dream, and the people would say to me, you can't just close your eyes. You need to sign the books. Sarah, you can't just close your eyes right now. You need to sign the books. They were aware that I was there and closing my eyes and just sitting there. And then they were like, no, she's fine. She's fine. And it's just a very recurring dream. And I know that I do write books, and I know that I do have those experiences now. And it's kind of like I'm in those two worlds. But the reason that I say that is I feel like March, and the rest of our lives is basically we're just going to feel as though there's no warm up. Pam Gregory, one of my favorite astrologers, she's like, there's no dress rehearsal for what we're doing, with only the lens of the awakening and the ascension. But, as I've said so many times, we can't, as leaders, we can't sit under the Bodhi tree and meditate and send love and just completely leave our lives. We're here to help in a certain component build the new world from the inside out, whether we're meditators, we're light workers or light warriors. There's so many different roles that we're playing, but we can't really, some of us can, but we can't really tag out and just meditate and do nothing. A lot of us, if you're here with me, if you're, watching YouTube development videos and trying to better yourself, you know that you have a role. And you know who I'm speaking to. I'm speaking to you. You know you have a role that might not make sense. You know you have a role that maybe the view is hidden, but you know that there's something missing. You know that there's something else that you're here to do. And this isn't like, go watch the short that I just put out. It was like, we're not so different. That's definitely worth like your 30 seconds of time, where we can't just sit back and be like, okay, I'm going to let the world and I'm going to do nothing. Just like we don't rush nature, but it needs water, it needs sunshine, it needs components and things like that. So it's a very long introduction to say there is no warm-up for what we're about to do. There's no warm-up for March. There's no warm-up or dress rehearsal, to use Pam Gregory's language. There's no prepping us for what we're about to experience. So let that take the pressure off. Do it anyways. If I'm telling you, and I'm saying whatever's coming for you, whatever role, whatever experience, whatever thing that you need to do in this world, whatever, I'm just going to use the term role or the label to go on my Monday video that I just put out, that you've put on yourself, you haven't been able to prep for it because there's no possible way to prep for it. So as leaders, we show up authentically, we show up in sovereignty, and we use very empowering statements like the one I'm about to use. I don't have the answer to that question, but we can find out together. Let me gain access to the information. Yeah, if you don't know how to do something right now, it is not for lack of trying. It is not for, it doesn't make you a bad person. It just says whatever it is that I'm about to do, I have not been able to prep for it. So I feel like I kind of butchered that a little bit, but we're just going to kind of go into it. I'm going to talk a little bit about the astrology. This is your chair, if you didn't know. So this is where you can sit at the table. And this is the general astrological wheel that I have behind me. And I just have the amalgamation of March 1st, 2024 up here. So the moon is over here in Scorpio on the 1st of March. And the moon scoots around, but I just placed the planets for the 1st of March so you could kind of get a little bit of the vibe. And this is the general astrological wheel, which starts in Aries and goes all the way around over to Pisces. So the sun is in Pisces for this moment. Aries season, the equinox, the spring or fall equinox, depending on where you are on the planet, is when the sun goes into the sign of Aries. That's the equinox and the solstices, that's God's quarterly. This is like the end of the astrological year that we're in right now. See where the sun is close to the end of it? For my Aries risings, when the sun is in the 12th house, or for anyone, but for right now, for Aries risings, you might be a little tired. You might feel as though it's, this is, the collective New Year's for a lot of us. So you're going to have an effervescence and excitement when the sun goes into Aries, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But there was the overarching, the reason that we might feel so, not down on ourselves, but a little bit nervous to be showing up, or it feels like this anticipatory, as I was writing down what the title was going to be. And if this is your first time here, when I'm talking to you, my guides show me images over here, and then I usually have another one going over here. I process in at least 3 universes, this one and 2 others, all at the same time. It's very, very quantum, and I'm very, very grateful for that. And So if I'm talking to you and I kind of look like office space, that's just a little bit of like the way that my tism shows the whole thing. But so the overarching, the overreaching kind of reason, the why, as to why we're feeling a little bit like, I'm not ready for this. It's right over here. This is Chiron conjunct the North Node in Aries. And this has been happening the end of February into the beginning of March, that like degree conjunction, and then it's going to kind of separate. And so the North Node and the South Node are always in opposition of each other, and the nodes go backwards, whereas Chiron's going this way. All the planets usually go this way, save for the retrogrades, but we'll get into that. We don't have a retrograde in March. April 1st is when Mercury goes retrograde, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. But so Chiron, I always look at it as lenses because I wear these big old glasses. The lenses, Chiron, our wounded healer, the wounded warrior, the little bit of like wince inside of ourselves of like, ooh, I don't know if I can do that. The North Node, the head of the dragon, our collective destiny, what we're working towards. And we're going into the Aries, I am, the very sovereign time in life, where yes, it's the time of the entrepreneur. And yes, everyone, I'm not going to should you, but it's like, now's the time for a side hustle, whatever it may be for yourself. And just in my personal practice and opinion, having it be something that really lights you up or is a part of your core values, whatever they may be, like to list at least 5 core values. And that's about, this house right over here. It's like, for example, waitering, being of service. If I'm being of service and offering a safe space for people to find connection, that is my purpose. If I'm living that in every breath, I'm doing what the universe is asking me. Whether it's my ego saying it has to be this, or my ego saying that's not enough, that's a me problem. That's not what the universe has in store for me, and I don't have to worry about that. And it's interesting because for the beginning part of the month, it's like we can kind of really, what did I say? That's why aligning your vibration is going to be a little bit, I don't want to use like imperative, but advantageous. If you want to really utilize the energies of March, it'd be advantageous to really align your energy and your vibration to what it is that you see yourself doing in the future. And even if you don't have the full lens, the full picture of it, definitely go check out in the toolbox, the playlist, the practical manifestation technique. That's a very, very practical tool that you could utilize to connect to your future self. And I know I speak very quantumly, but what I really love is my natal Mercury is in Pisces. Even if you don't have that language, I'm able to give this quantum view, a very accessible lens for you. So if you feel as though some of the things that I'm saying might be going over your head and you're just like, my brain just hurt on that one, Sarah, then watch this video a few times or just have it on in the background and just listen to the vibration and the sound of my voice and let that simmer and let that marinate and let that go in. And then maybe tomorrow you'll wake up and certain things are integrated. Try it on for size. You never know. Trust the woo a little bit. But so let's look at, so the overarching, the reason that we feel this wince is this little guy over here. And so when we know that, okay, everybody on the planet is feeling this, it's not just me, everyone's just, what's that phrase, like faking it till you make it? Yeah, just keep showing up. Everything is figure outable. Isn't that the phrase? So what other dates? I'll give you the dates. I'll just list them super duper quick and then I'll go through them one by one. So on the 9th, we have Mercury going into Aries. Mercury's going to be in Aries for a little while because in April, like I said, we're going to have a retrograde in Aries. So see where Aries falls in your chart and you're going to get a little bit of extra communication in that area. So be excited about that. Around the 10th, we're going to have the new moon in Pisces at 20 degrees, and that's the last like lunar cycle for this astrological year. Like I said, the equinox is like the beginning of the year. So that's the last new moon. And if you're interested in new moon and full moon stuff, check out the link that's in the description for the workshop group that I have. If you're interested in doing like very, very accessible deep dive work and help, I offer tools for you to help yourself and kind of flow with the energies of the moon. That's definitely the group for you. On the 11th, we have Venus going into Pisces. On the 19th or the 20th, depending where you are in the world, that's the equinox, God's quarterly. It's when the sun goes into the sign of Aries. Sun over here, transiting the group ascendant sign over here. On the 22nd, we have Mars going into Pisces. Then on the 25th, we start eclipse season. That's the full moon eclipse in the sign of Libra at 5 degrees. It's going to be awesome. That's just like, and that the note that I wrote for that was surrendering the reins to God. On the 1st, we have a few sextiles that, you know, astrology is one of the lenses that I utilize, but it's not my full lens. And definitely go check out my, what was it? Yeah, the North Node in Aries. Yeah, the North Node in Aries, I talk about sextiles and I kind of utilize my chart because it's a really fascinating transit, the North Node in Aries. Definitely go check out that video because I just explain a little bit about what sextiles are. I'll see if I can put together a little short for sextiles. And actually, I'll put the link for that below. And so Venus is sextiling, the planet Venus over here is sextiling this little guy. And then we have the sun sextiling Jupiter over here. So it's kind of like sextiles are good flowing energies. It's like you're showing up at the party and it's your favorite cousin and you're just like, I see you, I see you, I see you, I see you. And they can work together. They can flow together. It's kind of, you don't always get along with your next door neighbor, but you get along with the one that's outside of that. So you can kind of have a little bit of like, oh my God, did you see what the neighbor did yesterday? I know. I couldn't even believe it. I don't advocate for gossip. I'm just giving a dramatization as the planets and things like that. So now let's go through one by one. Lenses, if you will. On the 9th, when Mercury goes into Aries, Mercury's going first. And one thing that I found really, really fascinating is that in February, and definitely go check out my February introductory video for a little bit of understanding, we had the inner planets, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, all go into the sign of Aquarius. And so it was not bam, 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 but it was the 3 inner planets going into the same sign. As we can see, Mercury's been scooting. So Mercury's going to go into Aries, and then we're going to have on the 11th, Venus going into Pisces, and on the 22nd, Mars going into Pisces. So they were all kind of super concentrated for February, and then now they're kind of spreading out and they're going to do their own things. And so when I was kind of really processing that and getting ready for this video, the thought that came to me is we're all on our own path. Every single person on this planet, if you're alive right now in February going into March of 2024, you are on purpose. You are absolutely integral to the awakening and to the ascension of the planet. Even if that is not your language, you can tell that something is so different in my daily life than it was when I was younger. And whatever time mark you want to give it, whatever, if it was 2020, if it was, 2012, it was, 2008, whatever date you've given, like things are not the same anymore. We're not in Kansas anymore. That's the world. That's the way of the world. And that I want us to, maybe like the film that my guides are giving me right now is like the backdrop of explorers. And we're all, about to board different ships to go explore different lands. And we've never done that before. We've never experienced exploration before. Even if you want to use the quantum view or the Alice in Wonderland view, it's like hitting the mirror. And, like I watched The Matrix yesterday, like hitting the glass and then like the glass, like cover. It's like you're going into an understanding and a dimension and a world and a job that you've never done before. Or you just you were working on the 5th floor and now you're going up to the 25th floor and you're like, oh my God, I just got to wear a nice tie and wear the nice socks and shoes. Yeah, they'll onboard you. You'll be fine. There'll be a team on the other side to help you. And your guides, your angels, everyone's here to help you. I'm here to help you, to offer guidance. That's it. There's no gurus on this planet, in my opinion, in my practice and opinion. And so I found that February was a time, and it's like the beginning of Pisces season as well, was really a time for people to really understand their vibe, understand their triggers, understand their traumas, understand their trauma responses, understand what it is that they're maybe looking for that they don't already have. it's kind of like we wake up and, as forward thinkers, and as if you speak Bob Proctor's language or The Secret or any sort of mindset manifestation, and it's accepting and surrendering to where you are. Eckhart Tolle speaks of that. Just make a best friend with presence, but still have the blinders on for I know where I'm going. And go back to those values and say, what are my top 5 values? I just have a feeling that some of you are new here, so definitely list out your top 5 values. That's something that I talk a lot about. And so if we have all of those values, if we have all of those things nurtured and nourished, then it's amazing. Then you're firing on all cylinders. But if we do not have one of the things that we value, and I use money as a really great accessible tool. So say, money is your freedom, and maybe you don't have as much that you would like, and you're focusing on manifesting, an amount of money that you are hopping paradigms towards. What other values do you have? Being of service is one of my top values. Regardless of where I am, of what I'm doing on this planet, if I am being of service to the world, I am doing the work that God put me on this planet to do. And I can dance around like it's Christmas morning doing it. And it's amazing and it's great. So if we know that our vibe attracts the tribe, attracts the money, attracts the things, and we're sitting around like, another day at the office. I know I got to do something, but I'm just miserable with it. Do the day after technique that I've talked about before. If it's not money, then it's a partner. If you're looking to meet the dream partner, the man or the woman of your dreams, act like it's the day after you met them. Yeah, you're gonna be the same person. They're gonna be the same person. You get to court and you get to experience that level of like, all's well. All's well. It's okay. Yeah. Live into that person. Connect with that vibe. Connect with that being. Please comment below if this is making sense. Please comment below. So Mercury, Mars, and Venus all went into Aquarius in February. And now Mercury is going to be going into Aries. We'll have a retrograde in Aries. And then Venus and Mars will go into the sign of Pisces. So things just feel like we're getting on those ships and we're off and we're leaving the comfort of what we know behind. We're leaving, it seems, or it might feel that you are trying to do something and your worry is like, is my family going to be there? Are my friends going to be there? Am I going to be able to handle all of this? Am I going to be able to do all this? Yeah, you got it. You got it. You're going to be able to handle all of this. Anything that comes your way. If the world hasn't knocked you down yet, the world hasn't killed you yet, yeah, you're doing great, my friend. You're doing a great job. So please take some pressure off. So when Mercury, your communication planet, goes into the sign of Aries, and that happens right before the new moon. Aries, what do we know about Aries? We know them, we love them, and it is just like Aries season is the best. Aries is the infant baby ram of the zodiac. Their statement is I am. They're literally baby and daddy rolled into one. The unevolved Aries is as self-centered and as like me as can be. And the evolved Aries is more of a leader, but in a sense where like, I'm going to compete with you to go first so that I can teach you what it's going to feel like if you swan dive into concrete. Let me swan dive into concrete so I can show you what not to do. They can be very irrational. They can be very emotional. I am an Aries sun conjunct Jupiter. So I'm this to so I can speak to that. I am not pointing fingers at the Aries. So when our communication planet goes into the sign of an infant baby ram, things that we say might come across as a little bit harsh. And there might not be that moment of a thought coming into our brain and then processing. Right now with Mercury and Pisces, it's, can this person handle this? Can they, and you speak in the most eloquent terms, and it's just, we wear rose-colored glasses, and it's just like, when Mercury's in Pisces, it's like the most eloquent novella of a Gemini telling a story where it's, so the clouds were a dusty, rusty pink. And, you know, the person was wearing a soft feather jacket that was really from H&M in 1997, that when they purchased it, the tag was just ever so slightly bent, so they gave it to them for a 75% discount. That's Mercury in Pisces. Mercury in Aries is, why are you crying? I only told you how much you were terrible at what it is that you're doing so that I can do it for you. I was trying to take something off of your plate by telling you that you suck at that. I'm sorry for swearing. I'm really not swearing anymore, so I apologize for that. So we're going to have a retrograde of Mercury in Aries. So when Mercury goes into Aries, it's going to be, what did I say, on the 9th, and it's going to be in the sign for a little while. So we'll get a little windshield wiper of that. That's going to be very, very exciting. Then the 10th, the new moon in Pisces at 20 degrees. It's going to be over here. I will have an entire video on that, so I'm not going to speak too much to it. It's just like, this is our last new moon of the astrological year, and it's our chance to really plant seeds in wherever it's falling in your own natal chart, but on the general astrological wheel, this is at 20 degrees and it goes to 29 degrees and then 0 of Aries. So this is near the end, and the 12th house is about soul purpose, healings, closures, coming homes, endings and beginnings, soul contracts. This is also the health axis, the 6th and the 12th house. So what was it? The full moon video that I just put out, Definitely Work Your Time, was about habits, and that was the full moon in Virgo, again about the health axis. So resources for you if you're interested in more information about these, the astrology and the way that I kind of utilize astrology as a lens to better ourselves in this world. So I have no idea what that new moon is going to be called with that video. We'll do an entire video on it, but it really says to me that this is not your last chance, because if ever I say anything that's anxiety producing, just go above it and just say my intention is for the greatest good for myself, my home, my family, my team, my flock, and all involved and invested. But this is our last opportunity in the astrological year to really plant seeds and show the universe what it is that we really want. We really want. Like for myself, being like the person at that book signing, that I've had that dream since I was a baby. Maybe write, Sarah, a little every day, even if it's not the books that you want to, like, just maybe write a little every day. And I just have little giggles to myself, little asides. So just like the full moon had said, daily habits, daily habits. This new moon is just, I feel like it's literally like putting a wish in a bottle. Oh my God. I really do. It feels so, but if we have this language, and then if the next moon cycle is eclipse season, and that's literally giving the universe, that's giving God the reins and saying, you take me. You take me. This is what I see in my mind's eye. This is the dreams that I've had. These are the desires, the yearning, the excitement. This is what brings me joy and effervescence. It's kind of like, this is my ikigai. This is all the things that amalgamize me. So I see this goal, universe. Here's my order. Put it out in the most Pisces way, in the most like, let it, give it to God. Give it to the Godly understanding. And I use the term God brazenly. So if that is triggering for you, just insert universe, Gaia, all that is, whatever is best for you. Whatever is best for you. All right. And then the 11th, we'll have Venus going into the sign of Pisces. I'd say when Venus is in Pisces, just be aware, and I've mentioned this before, go slowly with anyone that you meet right now, any soul group, any connections, because connections are coming in hot and people are connecting in this really beautiful way. Like the red strings are really getting tightened and tightened and tightened right now. So there is no rush. If you know that it is divine and you know that this is like a soul contract of the universe brought you together, why would you rush it? Romanticize it, love up on it, enjoy going slowly, really. Yeah, Venus and Pisces is going to be fun. I think it's going to be really, really fun. I'll do a whole video on the equinox, and I have maybe go check out the Capricorn solstice video that I did. I'll put the that was from December of 2023. It's about money mindset, but it's still, because it's a quarterly, it's still applicable right now. So I'll put the link for that below. It is the Scots quarterly. It's like the beginning of the astrological year. So I'm excited about that. I'll do an entire video on that, but it's either springtime or autumn time, depending on where you are in the world. I live in the North Shore of Massachusetts, and it's so fun. Like the second the sun goes into like the springtime, when it goes into Aries, people just literally wear shorts. Like they just don't care what the actual temperature is. They'll just start wearing shorts. Like, it is spring. Yeah, there's like a foot of snow on the ground. No, it's spring, so we're just going with it. And it's kind of a nice way for us to really, like, I had given this visual. In Gloucester, you could be walking by the beach and you could see people doing cold plunges. You could see people surfing. You could see people literally laying out sunbathing. And you could see people walking with full Eskimo gear on. You see people just sitting in their car. Like, I love the service guys, that they're so magical and intuitive, and the fishermen, they're just like, you can see the sea in their eyes, and all of them, they're just so tapped in and they don't even recognize it. It's just, blessed be to the men of the silent. They're so pure. They're so pure. And all of them are right. All of those people on the beach are right. The cold plunger, the one who's surfing, the one who's sunning, the one who's in Eskimo gear, and the one that's sitting in their car. Like, no one's wrong. That's how they're interpreting and experiencing spring. That's how they're experiencing the weather and what is happening. That's the view, their consciousness, running their human avatar, and the way that amalgamation of planetary alignments and the date on the calendar, whatever calendar they believe, that's how they're presenting. So now that's a little micro of what this entire video is kind of about right now. Saying, yeah, whatever is for you is. So just be it. So just be it. So even as I'm talking, I'm hearing some of you say like, well, I don't know how to surf. I would love to surf. Who do you want to be in that dramatization? Yeah, then just put yourself out there. Yeah, the waves are really small right now, so you can attempt. You just have to find the gusto inside of yourself to maybe buy or rent the surfboard, or ask someone that you know, or put out on your social media, hey, I would really love to try surfing. I would really love to try surfing. Does somebody have a surfboard that can show me? Have you ever met the kindest people in the world are usually surfers? They're so welcoming. They're like, oh, you want to come out here too? Come with me. I will take you. There's usually someone who's doing what it is that you want to be doing. You just have to put it out there and say, hey, I'm interested in doing these things. Or I've had this idea to do this. Does somebody want to do that with me? But you got to speak it into existence first. You know what I mean? You got to speak it out first. Let's see. That was the 11th. The 22nd, we'll have Mars going into Pisces. You know, Mars, I don't want to say Mars is really happy in Capricorn or Aquarius or Pisces. Mars is our assertive planet. It's like our inner divine masculine. It's the way it's our aggressive assertion. Like it's all the masculine qualities. And so Mars in Pisces, it might be as though, this is coming to me now, I'm listening to my guides. They're saying we have to find a little bit of softness for the, this is Mars in Aquarius is fixed air energy, fixed intellect energy. So we might be feeling a little, if someone pokes at our belief system, or if they have a different belief than us, then they can just go straight to hell in a handbasket. And I have no desire to be around them. I'm unfollowing them. I can't even look at them. So 80% of that I agree with. If it's a family member, maybe just mute them and don't look at their content and just say, wow, that's the reality. That's amazing. And I feel as though Mars and Pisces is going to give a little bit of a softness for just be, wow, that's just their world and that's their paradigm. And utilizing the phrase, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing your belief. Thank you for sharing what it is that you are passionate about. That's not my paradigm. That's not the world that I live in, but I appreciate your perspective. That's definitely a really helpful tool, since, something that I've been processing since 2023 was boundaries. And what I left behind in 2023 is unhealthy boundaries or lying by omission. I would just kind of purse up if somebody was saying things that I didn't believe in, where I was like, they aren't looking to learn, Sarah. They don't want to know the realities of the world. But then I had to float above myself and say, that's very egoic, Sarah, because that is their world and their paradigm. And neither of them is right or wrong. Just listen to them. Just listen. And so I started to utilize that phrase and have had some really empowering and lovely connected conversations with people that have very different belief systems than me, where all I had to say was, thank you so much for sharing. That's not the paradigm that I live in, but I loved the way that you expressed your world. And then if they ask you, well, what is your paradigm? What is your belief systems? And you feel safe to express that, then go ahead. And don't point fingers and say, you're unconscious and you're sleeping and this, that, and the third. Just say, oh no, this is what I do. If something happens to me, this is what I believe and this is what I experience and this is the way that I live my life. One is not that different than the other. Usually, we all want health and wellness. We want financial security and financial freedom. We want time freedom. We want, that for ourselves, for our family, our friends, our community, and home and team and flock. Yeah, but if you say, I only want those good things for my people, but not for anyone else on the planet, then look at that. And don't judge yourself. Just look at it. And then on the 25th, we're starting eclipse season. We'll have a full moon eclipse, 5 degrees of Libra. And full moons, I'm just going to do lenses because I will do an entire video on that. And that will be, it'll be available on the day of, like the introductory videos that I do for the full moons and the new moons. I have a week in advance in my Patreon group in the full moon and new moon workshop. So if you're interested in doing the work and utilizing the energies, that's the group for you. And it's a $10 a month investment. It is as accessible as I could possibly make it. And there's so much that I pack into that group. It's one of my favorite groups. It's like, I love, it's me doing things that jazz me up and offer the tools that help me help myself. So when you're ready to help yourself and really utilize and flow with the moon cycles, that's the group for you. And the link is in the description. So when we know about full moons, and I'll just offer these lenses first, it will be the sun will be at 5 degrees of Aries, right over here, and the moon, it's going to be at 5 degrees of Libra. I don't know where the other planets will be, but I'm just looking at the sun and the moon right now. So that's literally off by 5 degrees. Usually I only utilize a 3-degree orb, but for this context right now, it's on like the foundational axis. It's not the galactic center. It's the world axis, the galactic. I can't remember exactly the phrases, but it's literally like that's the center of. It's kind of like when you're looking at like a kaleidoscope or like the inside of a key, and then all of a sudden it's like, and it all like shoots through. When the planets are on these axi, correct me please. I don't really know. It's big stuff. It's big stuff. And normally full moons, the sun and the moon are in complete perfect opposition of each other. And usually for full moons, we say like this is the perfect time to release. The full moon is highlighting something. It's so bright in the sky. So without even the lens of eclipses, this is in our house of relationships, the important people. It's seeing God in another. And so the first house is beginnings, the storefront view of my life, the ascendant sign, and this is the descendant sign. This is where we see the universe in another. And it's also where we could kind of utilize it'd be advantageous for us individually to look at our descendant sign because that's usually what we look for in another, but also at the same way, certain components that we could nurture and nourish within ourselves. For example, I'm a Scorpio rising. My descendant sign is in Taurus. So I look for very, very grounded people, and I put a lot of energy and effort into my very core friendships, relationships, family members, and it's also something that I could utilize for myself, giving myself the same love that I give to others. So that's something that I am working on and something that I constantly am looking to, where how can I incorporate certain Tauran mentalities into my very Scorpio, very fixed water energy, being on a fixed axis. Yeah, I know. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. So I would say for this eclipse, and again, I'll do an entire video, an entire workshop on this, but it's saying, not like I'm prophesizing. Let's go back to the ship analogy. Go back to, like, we're all getting on specific ships, and there's 5 different ships, and we're all going off to these distant lands, and or spaceships, or we're going to explore other planets. We're going to do all these different things. We're going to be leaving certain people behind. They're also going to be leaving certain people behind. So it's kind of like you're getting on one ship and a very, very dear friend is getting on another ship, and you're both going off. It's not like, I don't see like all these breakups and all of this like very dramatic, you're leaving me. It's going to be very amicable, irreconcilable differences cited, and it's been a very common theme. So I just want to time out and to say to anyone that's been experiencing, I'll put the link for my relationships are drastically changing video. That is definitely worth your time. It has a lot to do with the nodal transit, but it's really to say that you're not alone. If your relationships are drastically changing, if the way that you show up and love yourself is so different that you can't even connect to someone that you used to connect with even last week, you're right on time. It just shows that you're doing inner work, and it also shows that that person is doing their own inner work and discovering that you are not a vibrational match for them. This is in no way personal or egoic or judgmental. We've come together, we've experienced the karmic contracts that we needed to experience with those souls, and then we're moving along. I am in no way desensitized to the fact that it is very difficult for our human beings to deal with pain and grief and anger and sadness. These are not easy things that I am telling you to do. In no way. If this is the first time that you're at my table, I know I pack like 6 months of work into each of these YouTube videos. So I get that what I'm telling you is big stuff. But if you found my table, it means that you have been doing this work, maybe without community. I'm having a full body reaction to that. You're safe here and you're welcome here. I just want you to know how loved you are. And really, like, I've been loving up on you and caring about you since before you found my channel. Yeah. No, I'm 36. I'm going to be 37, but I'm choosing for this to be my last human life. Like, my guides told me a very long time ago, like, this is it. I'm a little old lady. It's true. I was like, literally, I was putting my little house sweater on, and I was like, oh, good. You got a tissue in there. Thank God. There's 2. Yeah, and then more in my pockets. Okay, it's so good. I love life. I love it so much. So I don't even know where I was on that. The full moon eclipse. So knowing that that's coming. Okay, so that's coming on like the 25th. And then I have a new moon. Like, if people are meant to be in your life, there's not a single way that you can mess that up. Not a single thing you could do to mess up those relationships. If they are meant to be in your life, your trajectory, that thing that you don't know how to do yet, that thing, that experience, that you're like, I know as you're talking, I feel this calling from within me. I feel this thing that's building up and building up. That just means that you're right on time. That just means that you're right where you're supposed to be. That's it. So keep trusting that, and trust and know that your vibe, if it changes, and if you feel a little bit nervous, like, oh, if I said that to this person, they're going to leave me. What if I told you that you are equally an 8 out of 10 for them, and that there's someone waiting right behind them to be a 10 out of 10 for you? That's like your actual soul tribe, the actual group of people that you're meant to be surrounded by. And a lot of this we can't verbally explain, truly. And it's such a mind flip for my human. And when I say that, I know that I am consciousness running this human avatar, and it can be, and as a multidimensional quantum healer, there are many times, even in sessions, that I'll be channeling the guides for my client, and I'm like, there are no human words to explain this, and either I'll speak in light language or just do a healing or just try my best to articulate it. So sometimes I do, sometimes the human words actually escape me, and so I get it. But sometimes you can't explain to the person that's in front of you, a friend or an acquaintance, you can't just like sit them down and just be like, hey, I'm about to go on like this multidimensional like quantum journey, and it's like kind of the parable of getting on a ship and going off into the distance, and it seems like you're on a different ship. You just have to not respond to the messages, or, you know, for lack of a better term, not like there's narcissism. In no way is there narcissism, but just gray rock a little bit and not really participate in the dialogue that maybe you used to participate in. I'll give an example. So when you start to, maybe last month or maybe a few months ago, you were in a little bit of a commiseration group, and it could be, I'm trying to think of the right parable. You know, one of my subscribers, he's talked a lot about, and he's commented a lot about how, you know, he doesn't drink anymore, and I don't drink anymore either. And it's nice, and both of us are, I'm still utilizing tinctures and edibles and stuff like that, but this person is not utilizing any cannabis flower as far as I know. And so, and it's also, you know, a decade ago, I used to smoke cigarettes. And so when you stop doing that thing, people still invite you out for drinks. A little bit. They invite you and they're like, hey, you want to get a beer? And you're like, no, I don't do that anymore. And like, thank you for the invitation. Or, you know, going out for a butt, and you're just like, no, I'm just going to breathe my clean air and everything's going to be great and fine. Or, you know, I'm going for a burn cruise. Do you want to come? You just say no. And you just say no, thank you. They ask a few times, and then usually they just tucker themselves out and it's over and they stop asking. You know, I had a very kind coworker. It was his birthday the other day, and he's like, you know, you're invited to, you know, my celebration, and it was at the Anchor. If you know, you know. And he's like, I just know that that's not, he's like, but just know that you're invited. And I just said, thank you. That's just the fact that you're inviting me. I won't be there, but just the fact that like, we want to be included. We want to say, hey, I thought of you, but I know that that's not where you feel most comfortable. I still get triggered. It's been a long time since I've had alcohol, but there's a point in the night that I'm like, Sarah's gotta go. Everybody's doing shots now. I can't be around it. And that's me. That's not a judgment. That's just where my threshold is. And so all that being said, just keep saying no. Just keep not responding. If a more direct boundary needs to be put in place, if safety is concerned, or if you feel as though it's, you know, there's attachments that need to be broken, then absolutely start to utilize like phrases like, that's just not for me. I appreciate your invitation, but it's always going to be a no. So I don't want you to not waste your time, but just say it's a forever no. And maybe I'll reach out to you if I need. Or the phrase that, you know, there's no love lost. There's no love lost. I wish you so much happiness and joy and love. It's just like my priorities are over here right now. And it's kind of like that, like disappear for 6 months and glow up if you really have the leadership and the growth mindset, where you don't go out, you don't party, you don't do the things, you don't buy the fancy cars or the fancy watches or the fancy clothes. You're like, I'm glowing up. I'm doing this so that I don't have to do anything for the rest of my life. But I'm in my Rocky montage, and I don't know if it's going to be a year, I don't know if it's going to be 5 or it's going to be 10 years, but I'm in my Rocky montage, and I'm going to be in it. Be in what you're in. And, you know, you can utilize some woo-woo. You can utilize like cutting ties to people. You can call on your archangels. You can do so many different things in meditation. If anyone is interested in a deep dive about that, please comment below. Definitely always a timestamp and just say, hey, Sarah, around this time, if you could really do a deep dive on this, I'd be super duper interested. Because like I said, my introductory videos for the seasons, for the months, and for the new moon and the full moon, I give a lot of work and a lot of information in the better part of an hour. So please help guide me as to how I can best guide you. So just say, Sarah, around like 48 minutes, like, can you please do a little bit more as to like how I can do some cord cutting, how I can do these things, because you're not alone. And this isn't just my language in any capacity. People have been doing cord cuttings, and people have been doing this for a lot longer than I've been alive, and they'll be doing it a lot longer after my human is gone from this planet. And so it's really just finding the voice, the guide that helps give you the chance to whittle your own tools. Truly, that's all that it is. There's probably, in a multidimensional view, hundreds of other Sarahs across all different YouTube or, streaming platforms giving you pretty much the same information. It's just finding the one that really resonates, and is the amalgamation of what your values are. Jupiter and Taurus. And I have a whole video on Jupiter and Taurus. It's one of my most popular videos. Definitely go check that out. That's worth your time. April, Jupiter is leaving Taurus. No, it's not. Pardon me. We just have the biggest conjunction, one of the biggest astrological days of the year, Jupiter conjunct Uranus at 21 degrees of Taurus. In the general house of money, please, values and access to resources. Yeah, find out exactly where 21 degrees of Taurus is in your chart, because that's going to be like highlighted. For me, it's by degree, almost by the minute, on top of my natal Mars in my 7th house of relationships. I'll let you know how it goes. Oh yeah, I'm excited. I'm meeting my alien soul family. I can't wait. Alrighty. So, Sarah, you've given me all this information. You've given me all these dates. You've told me to follow the moon. You've told me that, there's no warm up. I'm going to be on, and it's going to just be happening. And so I'm going to wake up and be at a book signing one day. And you might be experiencing a little bit of anxiety. Giving the full moon, knowing that this is coming, just vibe into the person that, it's like there's 3 cookie cutter cutouts of you. There's the past you, there's the current you, and then there's the future you. And we know that we're in a 3rd dimensional matrix. We know that we're just avatars playing this game. So look at the future version of you and look at the you of right now. And kind of face them in the mirror. Or actually, yeah, that's what my guides are showing me. I was trying to give you the dramatization that my guides are showing me. But they're saying, imagine, in a very Harry Potter in the painting way, that you're standing in front of a mirror and it's the future version of you. How do they look? What are they wearing? What's the vibe? Actually, pretend you're both completely naked. Are they healthier? Do they exercise? Are they happy? They have a calm nervous system. They've figured out how to do all the things that you were trying to figure out how to do. Yeah. It's in the toolbox. The practical manifestation technique is worth your time for this new moon coming up. It is worth your time. Just look at the breadcrumbs. Look at the picture of what you're seeing, of that future version of you. And before we come to the new moon, we'll be planting seeds for what we see and say, okay, they are, fit AF. I commit to at least once a day going to the gym, getting on my yoga mat, going for a walk in the woods, doing something physical, because I see them very well nurtured and nourished, and they're taking their fish oils, or they're doing the supplementation, or I see them, not, binge watching shows like I do. So maybe I'll stop doing that at least once a week or something. Start to commit to those habits now. And that's how you start to change your paradigm, and that's how you quantum leap. Say, if in the future, Sarah, you write every day. Then write every day. As I'm talking to myself, I get to sit down with Sarah at the cafe table as well, so I'll be excited to chat with her and just be like, don't look at me. Don't look at me. I know I have half a book written. I'm sorry. I know. So many different ways we can talk ourselves out of doing the things that we know that we're meant to do in this world. I know, I do it too. So let's utilize that practical manifestation technique. And it's not really a manifest. It's like how to meet your future self, how to really connect with that future version of you. But really, do some mirror work and look in the mirror and pretend it's the future you. They're smiling at you. They're saying it's going to be okay. They didn't get their teeth knocked in. They're fine. They figured it out already. So connect to them. I'm not going to repeat the whole thing. Just go to the toolbox and definitely watch that. It's worth your time. And it was given to me by someone that is not even woo-woo in any capacity. No, he was just a multi-millionaire. And he had been using that tool for a very long time. So it's just the entrepreneurial mindset, which is the amalgamation of me. So that we can do before the new moon, during the new moon, before the equinox, during the equinox. And then by the time that full moon comes, it's eclipse season, you got to give the reins over to the universe. It's very true. During eclipse season, I take time away personally. That's me. I take time away. I don't work my restaurant job. I worked in the full moon in Virgo last Saturday, and usually I don't, but I was like walking around like this. I was like, why is everyone breaking everything? And why is everything weird? And why are people thinking that they're ordering things that they didn't order? And why did I forget that order? And I was like, oh, the moon. I literally blamed everything on the moon that night. It was fun. It was fun. And if we know next month, we're going to have that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in our collective house of money in the sign of Taurus, fixed negative earth energy. Do some inner work before that so that when that time comes, when those opportunities come, because they will be coming for everyone on the planet. And when we do the inner work, which for some of us might even just be learning how to meditate and calming our nervous systems so that when it's your body getting ready for success and your body getting ready for wealth. Truly, a lot of it is just calming the F down and not being in the, how is this going to happen? How is this going to happen? How is this going to happen? And just say, God has my back. Yeah, I wouldn't be me. God made me. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't special and important and needed. I'm doing this work and I keep having this dream. I keep having this idea and I'm going to go and work towards that. When and how, they are not my business. That is up to the universe. And that's what eclipse season is about. It's kind of, if you've strayed too far off of your track, the universe will eclipses just pull you right back. But if you've been on your track and you've been in your trajectory, the universe is going to just slingshot you into the reality that you need to be in. So you can't mess it up. But since we know that there's no warm-up, we know that there's no dress rehearsal, we know that we can't prepare for whatever stage, whatever specific area that we're meant to be standing on. It's kind of, did you ever see the old Clash of the Titans movie? Where it's worth your time. It's such a good movie. It's claymation. It's absolutely, oh my God, it's so good. But basically it's like a wall of all the people and the gods picks one up and puts them there. Like that's what eclipses are. That's what eclipses are. It's the universe, God, in my view, taking us from one shelf, this is Miguel, and putting us on the shelf with the community that we're meant to be in, and putting us in the right pattern, in the right keyhole for us to just do the thing. Do the thing. I think that made sense. I really think that made sense. Yes. What did I write down? The worlds flow together. Yeah, it's very much, it takes a lot of courage right now to do inner work. It really does. And so if you've been doing that work, if you've been speaking from I statements and looking at your shame and looking at your grief and your role and all these different things, if you've been doing past life work, if you've been doing grid work, thank you. It's just, I see you and I honor you and I respect you and I'm grateful for you. There's a lot of people that have lived and died never looking at their role in things. And so truly give yourself a pat on the back to say, I'm doing work that people have lived entire lives too scared to do. How incredible is that? How incredible is that? So I'd say do some journaling after this one. This is a big gulp, it seems. And, you know, nothing's slowing down. There's nothing that's going to be all of a sudden, ta-da, everything's quiet and fine. No, as human beings, as a collective, this is the new way of life. So like I said, the worlds flow together. get on the ship that you're meant to get on, and trust that there's going to be another fleet. There's going to be a welcome wagon when you get there. There's going to be all these different things. It's really, usually you find my channel when you've been repeating the same patterns, you've been doing some work, but you just kind of are confused about all of it. And I'm here to help you make sense and to say, these are some of the trajectories that you could go on. I'm here to offer you tools. I'm a guide. I'm a guide. I think that's it. Didn't even have a bite of my banana, but I'm gonna now. So I love you. Please comment any of your questions below. Please subscribe to the channel if you've not already. And please share this video with someone that you might think that, you know, maybe you're in corporate and you're like, my goodness, this girl is just spitting facts. She's a little woo-woo and a little cuckoo pants, but it's just kind of, she's saying things that make sense to me. Or maybe you've been lost in the sea of the spiritual community and you're finding that some, you know, light workers really, that don't look at their shadow and don't look at their role in certain things. It's not noon all day long. Everybody has a shadow. We all have different things that maybe we're ashamed of that we really just need to look at to clear. That's it. Yeah, we put off cleaning the closet because we don't want to clean the closet, and it usually takes about 20 minutes. I love you. I'm so grateful for you. Please comment below what you're going through. What are you most excited about for March with all these energies? It's so cool. It just feels like very anticipatory, and my birthday is in March. I can't wait. It's going to be a fun one. And it's on the 23rd, and that was also, check what has been going on from March 23rd, 2023 until now. That was the first day that Pluto went into Aquarius in our lifetime. And so it's definitely a very exciting earmark for, you know, the new world, whatever that means to you. Whatever that means to you. I think that's it. I love you. I'll see you next time. Bye.